Yo, what up YouTube? It's your boy Rose's Rides on a garage video. My very first garage video I've ever done, and it's not gonna be my last. The way I ride these bikes and the way I throw them around, it comes with a lot of maintenance, and I'm about to take y'all this year with me on some of the maintenance that I do on these bikes. So keep a lookout on the content that you see in the future. And you already know, as always, drop a comment, like, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. What I'm gonna do today is show y'all how to do a head swap on a 2003-2004 zx6r, and I'm gonna show y'all how to do it step by step. So let's get to it, baby. First thing you need to do is make sure your spark plugs are out. If they're not, take them out. The next thing you need to do is undo this bolt right here and drain the rest of your coolant out of your head. Take these 6 bolts out. Make sure you take them out evenly. I like to go corner to corner in the middle. With them bolts, I like to set them to the side how I took them out. Take this cover off. And there's all the goodies. You have to take this gasket off so you can make sure you can see these little notches on the side of the cam. Go down here to the right side of the motor, take this cover off. So now what you got to do is make sure this motor is in time. So this time mark right here, 1.4, you got to rotate this clockwise until it hits this little mark right here in the case. When you turn that clockwise to the mark, you got to make sure your cams are set to time as well, with your intake facing the intake side, and then there's an exhaust mark. You can't really see it, but you got to have it facing that way as well. And these marks got to be flush with your head. Boom. Now we got the intake facing the right way, this way, and the exhaust facing that way. Now we are ready to start working on top. Take off the cam chain tensioner, crack the middle one. Take off these rubbers, and the dowels come with it. Moving on to the book, it tells you the sequence on tightening these bolts on the cam cap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go backwards loosening them, and I'm gonna go by these numbers. You gotta make sure you use the same camshaft plate with the same head, or else your shit's not gonna be right. I'm only gonna loosen each and every one of these bolts a quarter of a turn following the sequence. So it's gonna take me, 8 to 10 minutes going each and every one of these bolts. Now these are all loose. We're gonna pull up the cam cap. Boom, there's the cams. Now we're gonna lift the cams out of the way. Get the other cam. Boom, boom. All right, the next thing you need to do is take off this cam chain guide, which is this bolt and this bolt. All right, now we're working on our way getting this head off. We got to get to these bolts right here. You see they're numbered. They got a sequence as well. But we got to take the sensor off to get to this bolt. I'm going to follow it backwards, so I'm going to go to the higher number, 10, and so on. So now that these bolts are loose, I'm going to take them all out. But they do have washers on them, so don't let these washers fall in your motor. I'm going to set these to the side on how I took them out. 1 inch at a time, baby. I think I'm getting somewhere. All right, now that the bolts are out, it's time to take the head off. And to take this head off, you gotta give her a little love tap. You feel me? On both sides. Use this corner right here. Boom. And while the head's off, clean out these ports, these coolant ports. You can just vacuum it out after you get all the debris out of there. If y'all want to learn a hack, get you a straw. All right, the next thing you need to do is clean this surface where the gasket goes. Make sure it's all clean. And with that new OEM gasket. All right, next thing we need to do is clean the bottom of this head, just like we did on the motor side. Make sure you don't turn this head all the way around because these buckets up here can fall out. You don't want that happening. To get your timing chain through, use a simple magnet. All right, now we're to the point where we need to drop these bolts in,
But before we do that, the manual says to put oil on both sides of this washer before you drop it in. I'm gonna hand tighten these all in until they stop. The first tightening sequence is 14.5 foot-pounds. And then when you get all those tightened, the final sequence is 30 foot-pounds. Voila! Go over them again just to be extra sure that they're all torqued down the same. Put this mile-long bolt in. Now to the cam chain guide. Boom, boom. Put a little oil on these buckets. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and put the cams in, and to be sure that we're putting the right cam in the same spot, we can go in the EX, which is the exhaust side, which needs to be on this side. You gotta look at your markings. All right, now we got the cam chain onto the cams, and what you need to do is tighten this side of the cam chain first, make that fully tight, and make this cam completely in time. And you move over here, pull this tight. You gotta line this up with this cam as well. Intake left, exhaust right, on the right side, on both sides. And also make sure you are grabbing the same exact cam plate that goes with this head. What I'm doing right now is what the manual tells me to do. Hand tighten these all evenly, and then you follow the sequence when you tighten them all down. And now that I got them all in there evenly, I'm gonna torque them down with the sequence of the book. Boom. Now we're on to this cam chain tensioner. Now how this tensioner works is take this middle bolt out, and has a spring on it that actually pushes this onto your cam chain guide and tightens your cam chain and push this all the way in. All right, boys, I turned the motor over, and now we are setting pretty, baby. Go ahead and put these back in. Next thing you need to do is clean this surface of the head where the valve cover goes. Get you some high temp gasket maker. What you need to do, put it here in this divot, put it here in this divot, and also up front, all the way down. I'll do this on this other side as well. OEM valve cover gasket. Onto your valve cover, make sure your surface is clean as well. To torque the valve cover bolts are 87 inch-pounds. Next up is your side cover. Make sure your surface is clean. You don't really need to change this gasket. You can reuse it. It'll still work. Woo! How I do my clean air mod for wheelies and to relieve pressure off the top of your motor to prevent you blowing out your valve cover gasket is what I do is run a straight hose from the bottom of the back of your motor all the way up to the front of your bike with a filter, and then you just straight hose your valve cover, and that's it.
To my Lou with the pack and the cat, jiffy. Lou with the bricks, where they at? Drippin', ooze, the paddock all wet. Birds in the truck, they ain't leaving at the nest. Get my face set like milk, yup.